Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Dennis Allen met with reporters on Monday, and as you might imagine, Pete Carmichael's future has been a big topic of conversation. We talked about it here. You've all talked about it. And naturally, Dennis Allen was going to be asked about it. First and foremost, he said what I assumed he would say, which is there's no shuffle coming imminently.
We won't make any coaching changes. I don't think I've never seen that to be the right answer, particularly when you're 4 games into the season. And I understand everybody's frustration, and believe me, everybody in this building's frustrated with it, because we have to find ways to put more points on the board.
You know, it's interesting that Dennis Allen said, play it again, Muse, real quick.
We won't make any coaching changes. I don't think I've never seen that to be the right answer, particularly when you're 4 games into the season.
Particularly when you're 4 games into the season. When Dennis Allen got fired from the Raiders in 2014, 4 games into the season, they were 0-4. That may just be coincidental, or maybe that's Dennis Allen remembering his life experience in Oakland, being fired after going 4-12, starting 0-4, and they kicked him out the door. Maybe there's part of that there. And honestly, that may be paralyzing him right now from making a decision which might need to be made. Might. I don't know that it definitively needs to be made. You spend the entire offseason, right? OTAs, minicamp, training camp, preseason. Now you're 4 games in, and the voice has been Pete Carmichael. Do you all of a sudden change it? It's a very tough thing to do. I can understand that. But the flip side of it is, let's not act like it's uncommon to make a change like that. Now, the flip side of it is Dennis Allen also said that Pete Carmichael knows. This is number 11. Pete Carmichael knows what's up.
I think he knows that. I think we all understand that, and obviously the play caller is always the first one that has the target on their back, and yet he knows that's his responsibility, and so he's fully aware of it, and he's working hard to get it fixed.
The really bizarre thing about Carmichael and the struggles right now, y'all, and whenever it's so interesting to me, because it's not like I was anti-Pete Carmichael being OC from the beginning, or Dennis Allen being head coach. But the more the sample size grows, you have to be able to pivot when you recognize something is wrong. When the Saints hired Dennis Allen, I understood it. I was okay with it. You could make the argument that, look, he was a head coach once before in a terrible situation. A young guy who went to an awful organization in Oakland with no resources, terrible ownership. Look at the quarterbacks. He had Matt McGloin, and it was terrible. Took his lumps there, hopefully learned from it, has been under Sean Payton and is ready for a second chance. We went through the whole thing about Bill Belichick getting fired in Cleveland and all these coaches who got fired, Pete Carroll getting fired, his first go-round in the NFL, coming back and having success. So there were plenty of examples of guys who in their second go-round had success. So I could have bought that. Similarly, I could have bought Pete Carmichael because there were 3 seasons where Pete Carmichael was the Saints' primary play caller, including 2012, the Bounty Gate year, when Peyton was out of football. And in the 3 seasons that Pete Carmichael was the Saints' primary play caller, they finished no lower than 6th in the NFL in offense. So there was a lot of reason to sit here and believe that could work, right? You've got so much continuity in the organization that you've had since 2006. There's no reason to upset the apple cart. You're not that far away. I understood all that. I was okay with it. But the more the sample size grows, the more this reveals itself. That Dennis Allen is what he is as a head coach. And similarly, Pete Carmichael can't exist without Sean Payton. And I understand Payton wasn't here in 12, but you still had Drew Brees. In those years when Carmichael was calling the plays with Brees, he still had Sean Payton looking over his shoulder. There's a big difference between, use whatever analogy you want. Like when you take the training wheels off. When you're the trapeze artist and you have the safety net, then they remove the safety net. It's going to change things. There's a completely different dynamic. You're Pete Carmichael calling plays with Sean Payton right next to you. You could bounce things off. That's different than when it's your show. And you've got enough of a sample size now. Last year was the first, we all know the stats. Last year was the first time since 2006 that the Saints averaged fewer than 21 points a game. And now you're at 15 points a game through 4 weeks. He ain't it. It's obvious. You want to believe you have the quarterback? I know you've got good receivers. Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. You just got Alvin Kamara back, and you didn't score a touchdown in your building. So when Dennis Allen says he understands the targets on his back, of course it is. Who else are you going to blame? Yes, listen, I've sat here plenty and talked about Derek Carr, and you expect a quarterback that you're paying $150 million to elevate the offense. Of course you do. But they can share the blame. Yes, Derek Carr could be playing better. But yeah, Pete Carmichael needs to be better at scheming and giving his guys opportunity to make plays. I don't know how much more of a sample you need to see. Ask yourself this. Do you believe that the light switch moment is going to come for the offense this year? 17 games a year ago. Now 4 games this year. I got a 21 games. Look at what they are. As for Derek Carr, Dennis Allen was asked on Monday how Carr was feeling after the game on Sunday.
Better than he was at this point last week. And yet, coming out of that game was still a little sore.
All right. This is one more on Carr. Play number 5, please. It was asked, why aren't they taking advantage of Derek Carr's strengths?
I don't think necessarily. Look, I think anytime you have a new quarterback and he's in a new scheme, I think there's a growing process that goes along with that. It's not happening as fast as I would like for it to right now, and that speed has to be accelerated.
Boy, it's so hard to believe that. It's so hard to believe. Like, you want to believe that? To say, well, look, he's in a new scheme. It's going to take time. Like, I want to believe that so much. But then I look at Baker Mayfield in Tampa. Tampa, who's down a couple of offensive linemen, who had a lot of their... They don't have a running back. Respect to Rachaad White, but, Leonard Fournette's gone. Their Hall of Fame tight end is gone. It's unquestionably different talent around there. You just look at the Saints in 2006 with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. They hit the ground running offensively. Boy, it is really, it's tough to justify, man. See what's going on here. Think about, you want to talk about you want to talk about a team with a new quarterback and a new system. Think about the Rams when Matthew Stafford came in back in 2021. First game was Stafford. They scored 34 points. They beat the Bears 34-14. Then they scored 27 against the Colts, 34 against the Bucks, 20 against Arizona, 26, 38, 28, 38. That didn't take any time. At some point, you have to be able to look in the mirror and be honest about what you're seeing. We all see it. Like, if you're willing to be honest, yes, you need to make a change. Because it hasn't mattered if it's Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton or Derek Carr. The offense isn't moving. You have got to make a change. You do it sooner than later. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.